Welcome to 100 Gems Podcast, home of the champs. Listen up, guys. We got a great champ here today, Dr. David King. He's a pastor. He's also running for mayor. And I've been knowing Dr. King for quite some time. So we just going to sit back and have a conversation. We ain't going to get into nothing too deep, but I think we probably going to get too deep. Because when we talk to Dr. King, a lot of times he really don't have a choice but to get deep. So he's running for mayor. I know there is a primary that I'm hearing that's coming up. Now I'm gonna keep it real. You know, I've never really been a straight political dude. So I'm gonna be learning some things today, and I'm hoping that you're gonna be learning some things as well, because Dr. King is running for mayor, and he's going to tell us what this political thing is really all about. So we got a primary coming up, Dr. King. You want to kind of tell us about what's a primary? It's coming up on February 20th. You running for mayor. Can you kind of give us a little bit of base on that, please?
Okay, well, the primary is where you get to choose which candidate you feel is best to represent you. And the problem that we have, a lot of times people say, we got to choose from the lesser of two evils. And the reason you got to choose from the lesser of two evils is because people don't go out in the primary. They wait till the general election, and then you got to pick from whatever.
So when you say lesser of two evils, what are we saying? Because we got three people running for the seat,
right?
And so what do you mean by lesser of two evils?
Well, if you like a candidate, then you need to be in the primary to vote. If you don't, then you get what's ever left.
You get the leftovers.
You get the leftovers. And when you got a person who's running for three different aldermen, she's running for alderman, county executive, and mayor, that lets you know she's not serious. And if you're tired of the mayor and what he's doing, then you really need to be in the primary, so that way you can get rid of the waste and you can have a real chance for change.
I'm going to come back on you because you said something. You said that means she really ain't serious. So we got somebody running for mayor, and because they running for three, you're going to have to break that down for me, because how does that make her not serious, in your opinion, because she's running for those three seats?
It looks more like an opportunist. Wherever I can get in, I'm going to fit in wherever I get in. And if you're really running for mayor, if you're really trying to be the mayor, you're trying to show the people that you are serious about what you do, how you do it. And if I'm running for mayor, it's like, let me do it this way so I can break it all the way down. You in the club, you got three women you got your eyes on, and they know that you got your eyes on all three, right?
Yeah.
So what they're going to say to you is make a decision. You only can have one. Pick one.
Right.
Okay. So when you're running for office and you're telling me I'm in this race because I'm concerned about the people, then focus on that one race. How are you going to focus on three races? How are you going to be committed to three different races?
Right.
You know, and so you're running for mayor, which is the CEO of the city. And then you're running for county executive, which is CEO of the city. And then you're going to run for an alderman, which is a vice president of a district or department, I like to call it. And so how are you serious? If you are trying to be the CEO of the city and the county and a vice president, you know, the Bible says a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways. So if you're going after three, actually they went after four, they got bumped off the ballot on the fourth one. So if you're running for...
You do your homework, don't you, Dr. King? I see somebody around here do their homework.
You got to, especially when you're serious about something. When you're serious about the condition of the people in our city, and you're serious about our children, you know, business owners. If you're that serious, you have to do your homework. And so when you're committed to a cause, right, then you have to put all in. How you going to put all in four different races at the same time?
No, I understand. You know, so I always, and you guys excuse me, viewers, because I'm not really political. I'm always on the back court. Like, I think my leadership comes from on the ground, if I can say. And Dr. King's leadership at this point, he's trying to come, he's on the top. He's trying to work from the top down. And me, I'm trying to work from the bottom and get my people together. And so And I commend you for that, Dr. King. Now I understand what you're saying about the young lady. And but we have a current mayor, and his name is Cavalier Johnson. I know Cavalier Johnson. Haven't spoke to him in quite some time. And nice young man. And I don't know what he's doing on the political side because I don't keep up with that. I try to make sure I'm a financial literacy advocate. God bless me with some skill sets to make sure I push that to the community. And you have definitely helped me in that, and I appreciate that. You backed me in that. Even when you had your church, you had me come in. So I know that your heart and where your passion is, that you a real one. And so you running up against Cavalier. I don't know if you like Cavalier or not, or you just running because you want this spot and you feel like you got more leadership. Like, what's going on with you running up against like a Cavalier Johnson? Can you break that down for me?
I'll break it down in three parts for you. The first part, he's a nice person. All right. I never say nothing evil about anybody. He's a nice person. All right. The problem is he's not a leader. That's the problem we have. We have been electing people as nice people, but not leaders. And so when he's not a leader, he's going to get along with only those that are in his pocket, per se. And so the problem is sometimes you can make a person put them in leadership, but they don't have the leadership quality. Okay. It's just like in business. You can make somebody a manager and your business start to decline because they in that position.
Can you define a leader for the people? And I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. And you're saying that he's not a leader. So what type of leader do we need? And what is a leader, in this role? Because of course we're talking about leadership in this mayoral role. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so a true leader is a leader that wants to empower the people. They don't want power. They want to empower the people. A true leader always has a vision, and that vision is to better the lives of those that they're leading. Okay. And so when you're looking at it from a mayor standpoint, you have to have a vision for the city, and a real leader don't get brought. They don't sell themselves. And so because you got to make decisions for everybody. All right. It's not just I'm a leader for blacks or whites or Latinos. I'm a leader for everybody, and I got to make sure every life is being taken care of. So when you're talking
that
about,
sounds like a tough position right there.
Well, not necessarily, because everybody, if you sit down with a group of people, they all want a safe city. Those that got businesses, whether they're Democrat, Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, they all want their business to thrive. Okay, if you sit down with 5 different mamas from different backgrounds, from different political arenas, they all want better education for their children. So there's common grounds for everybody. And if you stay focused on those things, then you're going to have a healthy city, and everybody will want to come. But if you only lean into one side and you got a group of people, which is our community, that's always on the menu and never is at the table, then that's another problem we have. Mayor Johnson was an alderman, president of Common Council, now mayor. And you can't name one thing that he really done to impact our community in all 3 of those positions.
And so what I'm hearing too is that in this leadership, we at the end of the day, it's just about doing the right thing and keeping the people in mind. Is that simplified? That you just got to make sure that you're taking care of the people, you're keeping the people secure when it comes to potentially crime, and that you're doing things to benefit the people from an educational standpoint. Yep. Can you break that down? Is that the mayor's job? Like maybe we should go there. Like, what actually is the mayor's job?
Well, the mayor is a 2-part for the mayor. He's the CEO, so he's dealt with the infrastructures and all the departments that's in the city, but he's also responsible for the safety of the people in the city. And so when you look at it from a business side, his job is to make sure that he's a good steward over the taxpayers' money, that he's not wasting the taxpayers' money, that the taxpayers are getting everything what they need. But then you also got to look at, you got to be responsible for the social side. You got to make sure that families are strong. How do I do that? By making sure we got things in place to help keep strong families. You got to make sure the children are taken care of and that the education system is one of the best. Now, he doesn't have control over MPS, but he can have things in place that what MPS lack, the church or any other organization can pick it up, because our children can't read. So since they can't read, we need some help with reading. They can't do math. They need help with math. What you do with financial literacy, they need that. They need that in the classroom. Because I remember when we was in school, we had to balance the checkbook. So they need all of this. And this is what makes them a better citizen. This is what makes communities stronger when we deal with the social issues, because the social issues is what's killing our city right now.
Okay, so we got this primary coming up, February 20th. This is about 3 weeks out for this primary. Mm-hmm. Why should I vote for David King? Why should the viewers that's listening, why should we vote for you?
Well, that's a good question. And I tell people, don't vote for me because I'm black. I want you to vote for me because you looked at all three of our resumes. That's what you need to do, because we are applying for a position, a job that represent you. So I ask you to look at all three of our resumes.
So hold on. This is what you're saying. You saying don't vote for you. Vote for the one that you can look at that can do the job. Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to get some clarity here.
I'm saying look at all of our reference, what we have done in the city of Milwaukee. Because if I never done anything, then how can I fix anything?
So you done more than this young lady, and you done more than Cavalier. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what you're telling me. Let's break it down for me, Dr. King.
I'm gonna take 1 year of what I've done in the city compared to all the years he's been an alderman, president of the Common Council, and the mayor. In 1 year, I transported 450 people to work. I made sure 450 people in 1 year had a job, making good money to take care of their families. I'll put that up with all his work and all her work. Neither one of them can say that. Let's take another year. I ran a transitional home, helping men get off drugs, walking the streets from midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure our city's safe. I'll put that resume up against his resume and her resume. They never had it. I ran a transitional home for single moms, making sure they can get back on their feet, teaching them how to budget so they can keep staying in their own houses. I'll put that up against them too. They never had it. I gave more jobs to felons than any one of them have done. So if you go look at our resumes, oh yes.
Yeah, and so are you saying that because of these things, you're more connected to the people?
More connected, know what needs to be done it, and seeing the fruit of my labor, helping people. Now I'm in the third generation of helping people. Even as a basketball coach, I'm dealing with third generation of people that I helped their grandmama or granddaddy get a job. Okay, so when you're looking at the work, and the beauty of it is this, I tell people all the time, don't vote for an image during election time, because that's not who you're getting. You need to check everybody's character. Are they the person that they're claiming to be? Because you vote for his image, and then he gets in office and he make different laws or does things that is not what you was expecting of him, because you voted because of an image or you voted because he was black. Some people say you still got Tom Barrett still in office because he's pushing the same agenda that Tom Barrett pushed. And if we look at it, ever since Tom Barrett been in office, the black community suffered even more. So if that's the case, then he's not for the people.
Well, I'm gonna say this, like our whole world, well, at least our whole country is having these same issues that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I think that, we really need real leadership. And I commend you for the things that you've done. I've seen these things that you've done. And on a higher note, being mayor is one thing, but we need true leaders like yourself to do even more.
Yes.
Even me as a leader, I need to do more. I've created a financial literacy workshop dealing with financial literacy and mental wellness now here in Milwaukee that we're going to be doing every 2 weeks because I felt like I was not doing the best job. I was not giving it the best push. So in what I'm saying today, I want you to tell me where you're going to do more. Where's your push within your own self? Because you can do more. Is that right, Dr. King?
Oh, yes.
Can you tell me? I want you to give me a testimony or testify on what you gonna do.
Well, for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be hitting the areas that needs the most, and that's the social issues. Because crime, the reason there's crime is because of lack of education and lack of fathers in homes. So I'm already starting a program to get men together to say, I'm Paul and I want to be your Timothy. But in order for me to be a Paul, I must also be a Timothy. So I'm showing them how to submit to a mayor's authority by being an example. I have someone over me, I answer to them, and my Timothy's answer to me. And this is how we teach young people, especially young men who never had a male role model, to say, this is how it works. It doesn't take nothing from you to submit to another man. It adds to you. And so with the Paul and Timothy movement, it has shown that I can be an example to young men by how I treat my wife, by how I treat my children, by how I treat them. And then we have that go along. And so when you look at it from a church standpoint, I'm removing the lie, separation church and state, and bringing the church and the state together to help deal with social issues. Why? Because who know how to deal with drug addicts better? The church. Who know how to deal with suicide better? The church. Not reading the book and say, okay, I got to follow this book. We know how to do it. Why? Because there's so many people in our church come from suicide, come from drugs, come from molestation, come from the lower part of life. And so if the church take over the social service department, what happens is now you're building stronger families, which builds stronger community, will build a stronger city.
So let me ask you this, and I like what you're saying, and you say a lot. You know, if for some reason, this is how I feel about Dr. King. If you didn't make it as mayor, you still gonna push and you still gonna do these things that you talking about. Is that fair to say? Because some people running for office and they running for office sake.
Right.
They running for office just to get that paycheck.
Right.
Or level up in their own for notoriety.
Yep.
And I don't feel that in you. I think that you'll still be out there doing it. And so, you know, and being realistic, I want to be realistic. Do you realistically believe that you have a chance to win this race?
Oh, yes. 100% chance.
Because they say the mayor got a lot of money, man. He got a lot of money. He got a lot of backing, Dr. King. And I'm not sure how much money in backing. And listen, being optimistic is cool.
Yeah.
Being realistic is okay as well. I like optimism better than being realistic because, you know, there's things called favor.
Right.
Right. And so I kind of want you to deal with that, you know, because I just want you to, man, realistically. So I'm going to say it this way. Dr. King, do you really think you're going to win this mayor race?
I really believe that I will be the next mayor of the city of Milwaukee. And it's not about how much money you have. 2022 in New Jersey, there was a truck driver spent $300 and he took out the most powerful state senator, Democrat state senator in New Jersey. It's not the money. See, what they do is they make us play their game. All right. I never played a game on offense. It's always on defense because what does everybody tell you in basketball? What wins game? Defense, right? What wins games on football? Defense, right? So when I look at this, when I say defense, I'm saying I'm going outside. You know how they tell us to color, but don't go outside the line? Mm-hmm. I'm all the way outside the line.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is this. It's not about how much money you have. It's more about your vision. The Bible tells us to write the vision, make it plain, that others may see it and run with it. Not that I run with it, other people run with it. And everybody, majority of the people in Milwaukee know my work. They know, every elected official know my work. And so by them knowing the work, they know I already care. All right. And if you're going to be mayor, you got to be a servant. And if you're not used to serving, you're not going to change anything. So as mayor, I made a promise to the young men over at Kingdom Prep. I'm not going nowhere. I'm still going to coach you.
Right.
I'm still going to be in your life.
Let's talk about that. You are a coach.
Yes.
So you already working and dealing with the youth.
Always.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so I think that's awesome. That's commendable because the youth need role models and things to look up to. And I definitely commend you in that. And I kind of want to take a little turn here because, I know that, like as I was studying social media and things like that it was something in the realm of saying that instead of just doing business, like, because I'm a strategist and I have a business, instead of just posting things about business, we should post some things and show people our inner self, yes, who we really are, our family, that side of us. So I kind of want to go to that side of Dr. David King. Okay. Like who are you really? You know what I mean? Like, where did you grow up? What kind of relationship did you have with your parents? I mean, you follow what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Because that's how people can really get an understanding of who you are. So where are you from?
Right here, the city of Milwaukee. Grew up right here. Fifth and Ring, 2nd and Burleigh. Victor, I'm a burger for life. Woof, woof.
You grew up in the hood.
In the hood. Victor Berger, Rufus King, Robert Fulton, right there. Played basketball at St. Elizabeth on 2nd and Burleigh.
How many children you had?
Together, me and my wife have 15 children, 58 grandchildren, one more on the way.
How many grandchildren?
58.
Wow.
And one more on the way. See,
I never knew that.
Yes.
Never knew that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your parents, did you grow up in a single household? Like
6. My mom raised 6 boys and 1 girl.
Okay.
Yeah, my father was around, but he only came when it was time to drop the hammer. Gotcha. He came and he did what he had to do to keep us. And then when I turned 18, at the time, A.O. Smith was doing the generational hire where your kids can come in. Mm-hmm. My father wouldn't let me in.
Really?
He was like, no, you can't come in here.
And how did that make you feel?
At first, I was hurt. I'm like, oh no, all my friends, they fathers getting them in.
That's that money. Yeah, that was that money train. Yeah.
But then he was like, that's not for you. He told me, you can't come in here. I'm not getting you in here. And I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
Because if he would have got me in there, I would have never ran $1 million companies.
Right.
So
was that his intentions? You think his intentions was to show you another side? He didn't want you to be under that foundry type work or whatever. Like, is that what you got out of that?
Yeah, what I got out of it was he was saying, I need you to work smarter, not harder. I need you to be able to find your own way, and...
Were you the oldest or the youngest? Like,
I'm in the middle.
You in the middle?
Yes, I have 3 older and 3 younger than me.
Okay.
And 1 sister. And so I started off as a dishwasher at the Anchorage Hotel connected to the Hilton. And I went from there to a cook, and then I became a cook and a baker by trade.
It sounds like you done been through the trenches. No,
I came from the bottom, and I came from the bottom of the barrel. And what motivated me when people tell me what I can't do.
Yeah.
See, Cavalier might have more money than me, but he'll never work harder than me. So I'm not even worried about money. You got to outwork me. And if you can't outwork me, I'm going to beat you.
Right.
I'm going to beat you. I'm out there on them doors. I'm knocking the doors, talking to the people. I'm sitting in listening sessions and saying, okay, let's talk for real. Whether you vote for me or not, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I always have a saying, I never tell you what you want to hear, but I definitely tell you what you need to hear.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. I hear you talking, Dr. King. And a lot of times, man, it was some people I heard. Like I said, I'm not a real political guy, but I remember listening to some folks on TV, not just in the political realm, but when they trying to get to a place, they talk real good about, hey, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. Vote for me. Bring me in to just really just be a straight sellout.
Right.
They just they done been bought, and they ain't thinking about none of that stuff that they told the people. So my questions for you is, what's gonna guarantee the people in this primary that Dr. King is not gonna be a sellout?
Well, I always tell people one thing that I can promise you, and that is I never sell your trust. Now, I could have been sold out a long time ago, but I tell people I'm not going to sell your trust. The type of mayor you're going to get is a Joe Clark and a Coach Carter type of mayor. I'm going to fix things. I'm going to correct things. I'm going to clean things up. I'm going to make sure that the money gets to the community like it's supposed to. I'm going to make sure that they're not kissing the ring and the good old boys just keep doing the same thing, because of the fact that I have seen with my organization, God Squad, where people come into my office and says, we would love to give you money because we like what you're doing, but you won't shut up. In other words, you won't be one of us. I can't be one of you, because I got to look in the mirror every day at myself. I got to be able to feel good.
Hold on, wait,
me.
stop. So somebody offered you money,
yes,
to just be quiet.
Just be quiet.
And so you said, I ain't taking this money.
I'm not taking it.
But what they want you to be quiet about?
What's really going on? Yeah. They have every black elected official have sold the black community out.
Hold on, stop, wait a minute. Okay, one more time. Can you rephrase that? Every black
elected official have sold the black community out.
Okay, break that down for me, please, sir.
Okay. With all the black elected officials that we have in the city, why the black community is the worst thing that's going on. And
okay, now let me ask you this. Is that the black officials? Is that their responsibility? Because sometimes, man, they say charity starts at home. Like, we got, so I want you to deal, I hear you. Okay. But I also want to say that, a lot of times we responsible too. So why is it that these officials, and I hear exactly what you're saying, I'm just trying to go somewhere here. Connect those dots for me.
Okay. If a white man came into our community and says, I need you to vote for me, and if you vote for me, I'm going to make sure that the fourth graders in our school system, only 14% of them are going to be able to read, and only 12% of them are going to be able to do math. Or your eighth graders, only 11% going to be able to read, and only 7% is going to be able to do math. Would you vote for me? No, they already know that. So what do I need? I need a black face to push my agenda. So I got to find out who's for sale, because not one black elected official is talking about education, how bad it is right now. Teachers got to go in their own pockets to get material when they got $405,000 or better sitting in their classroom.
So are you saying the black officials already done sold out? I mean, I'm just, hold on. Is that what we're saying here? Because they ain't talking about education. Is that intentional? They can't talk about it? What are you saying here?
They're not talking about it. They're not talking about black on black crime. They're not talking about only 7% of black owns a house. They're not talking these things.
And you saying that they're not talking these things because they've been bought?
They've been bought. If you really wanted to do, see, here's the thing about it. They got this game. Let's say you're an alderman. He's an alderman. I'm an alderman. And you really want to help the people. What I'm going to tell you is, if you help those people, you won't get on that board. You won't get on that board. You won't get on that board. You got to fall in line with us.
So that's what's really going on right now.
Yes. Yes.
And so what's going to keep you, because you said all of them. So what separates you? Listen, you said that's what you just told me.
Right.
Every last one. But so by default, right, Dr. King, you're going to be one of them.
No. And I tell you why. There's some that I really believe that really wants to do, but their hands is tied based off leadership. I guarantee you get a real leader there, they're going to be free to be able to do. They're going to be free to be able to say things. Right now, they can't say nothing.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to. I mean, let's look at it. We got the highest crime rate right now, even though they're saying some of it came down. We got the worst education system. Okay. You have property tax and sales tax went up, right? Who wants to move here? And the mayor says, I'm going to double the population. How are you going to do it? You're going to do like Chicago and bring the illegal immigrants in and push them over to black folks like they're doing in Chicago right now? I mean, who wants to come and move into a city? You're saying it's the worst place to raise a black family. The education sucks. Crime is suck. Who want to move here? But why they not talking about none of this?
And I'm listening, man. This is a great, very, very great subject. And so, and what I'm noticing that a lot that you're saying, Dr. King, is education. Is education one of the main factors? I know that you're gonna push, but and is that because you believe that education is our best way out of these situations?
Of course, because here's the thing. And I always govern myself according to the word of God. You have knowledge, you have understanding, and you have wisdom. All right? Knowledge is information. If I keep you away from the information, right, I got you. But if you end up getting the information, I'm still okay until you can understand or comprehend that information. Now I'm a little nervous until I see wisdom show up. Wisdom is application. I'm applying the information that you get. For example, 7% of Milwaukee blacks own a home, right? So now your information to them about, oh, you can own your home. If they get that and then they comprehend that and then they take the wisdom and start to apply what you have given them, look how many families you have empowered, and that 7% are going to double digit.
Yeah.
And it'll go there because they're applying. They're using wisdom and they're applying
and they're passing it down. No, I agree 100%. That's important with everything that we're doing, and education is key. And that's what we've been doing for a long time. And I know that you've been helping people in this educational aspect. So the primary is coming up on the 20th. I am going to start getting some people together because I told people that, Dr. King was coming by, Dr. David King, and that, that you'll be running for office, for the mayoral seat. And they wanted to have some conversations with you. And so I think that if we can, in the next few days, we're going to put something together. So those that's watching, we're going to be putting something together. And if you want to challenge or have questions for Dr. David King, you can have those questions. And so there's some, like I said, sometimes it's good for people to really know you.
Right.
And before we go today, I want to do something that's a little different and a little unorthodox. And that's I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear these words, okay? And so I think this would be very good for the people, and it's, very quick. For example, if I say the word this, then you say this,
I got you.
And so this kind of gets into the mind of the people, okay? And so I'm just gonna ask you probably about 10 to 12 words.
Yes, sir.
And Dr. King is gonna tell me the first thing that comes to his mind when you hear these words, okay?
Okay.
The first thing is going to be Ku Klux Klan.
Racism.
Okay. Next is going to be money.
Temptation.
You have to think about that. You tried to go in. Okay.
Hold on a second. The reason I went to temptation is because money can be good. There's nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. But the temptation part will make you sell out people.
No, I got you. That's what you went to. That's fine. Okay. So we got some more words for you.
All right.
Okay. So weave.
Weave.
Hair weave.
Fake image.
Fake image. Okay. Nails.
Beautifying.
Okay. The black community.
Oppressed and need help.
The white community.
Afraid and need help.
Politicians.
Some fake, some true.
Malcolm X.
Very smart.
Christianity.
Fake.
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
Should I elaborate on that?
Let me do 2 or 3 more, and you can elaborate on any one of those. Okay. And so, sex.
Marriage.
Interesting. Sky's pretty deep around here. Okay. And so, children.
Legacy.
I'm gonna stop there. And so, yeah, any one of those that you want to address about why you said that, you can. And I thank you for doing that with us.
Well, let's go to the black and white for a minute. When we say black, we say oppress. I say oppress. And the reason I say oppress is because we're oppressed in our mind. It doesn't matter how much money we have or not. We're oppressed in our mind. And we took some of the slavery stuff and just brought it from generation to generation. Like, we don't allow our children to express themselves because we was trained you're supposed to be seen and not heard. I love what you do with your daughter because she's allowing her to express herself.
Can I say something to you, man, about what you just said when you went there? Okay. Black and oppressed. And then you mentioned my daughter, so I'm going to go here today. Yeah. My wife was working on a project with my daughter, a Black History project that she had to do a poster board and talk about, and she chose Phyllis Wheatley. My wife did. My daughter is 4. And when I looked at it, she sent me a picture. I'm going to show you the picture as well. And my daughter had the Phyllis Wheatley hat on, and she went to the slavery thing with it. And when I first seen the picture, I got that feeling of oppression, not just from the picture, but from what was said there, right? Because my wife said, it says Phyllis Wheatley was named after the slave ship on which she was taken to America. And I asked my wife, and you can look at the picture with my daughter there, and I asked my wife, like, you had the opportunity to say whatever you want about Phyllis Wheatley. Mm-hmm. Why did we have to go and talk about she was a slave in the slave ship and she was named after the slave ship? Why do we even have to say that? We could have just said she was a great poem writer. Right. She was this and that because you said oppressed. Right. And so, this Black History Month, right? In my opinion, I think we should rewrite the narrative on it. It should be more optimistic. It should be more positivity that's going on instead of dealing with the negative aspect. What's your take? I know I got a little crazy on that.
Okay, well, you really want my take on that?
Please, sir.
I wish they get rid of Black History Month and teach American history.
I'm with you.
Because if they teach American history, our kids will learn something about Winthrop Cheswell, who was the first black man that was ever elected as a judge and stayed there for 54 years in the 1700s. They'll learn something about Henry Highland Garnett, who was the first black preacher that ever preached a message at the state capitol. They'll learn about Anthony Johnson, who Anthony Johnson was in the 1600s. They got this project out called 1619, and it talks about slavery. But what they don't tell you was slavery didn't start in 1619 because it was against the law. Slavery came because Anthony Johnson had a business where he would go overseas and bring people back to America and says, listen, work for me for 7 years. He did it biblically. Work for me for 7 years. Then you free because I'm going to pay for you to come over here. And there was a gentleman that he had, John, I can't think of John's last name, but John was lazy and John didn't work like he was supposed to pay off his debt. So Anthony Johnson went to court in 1651. He went to court and he asked the judge, can you make him my slave? Because it was against the law to have slave. Can you make him my slave? Because he owed me, and the way he's working, he'll owe me until the day he died. And that was the first slave. He granted him that slavery.
Yeah, no, that's deep. And so I want to get back to this Black History Month. That great. Thank you for that education. So you think we shouldn't have it?
No.
And so the reason why you think you shouldn't, why such a statement?
Because we need to teach American history. Blacks are more than just slave with a chain around his neck. We have done great things. The reason that they won the Revolution War because of a black man that went in, he was a double spy, and he set the British up for an ambush.
So do you think Black History Month was a setup? Do you think they gave us that? I don't know the history of how we got this month.
I think it's a pacifier.
Okay.
To pacify us. So that way they can keep us without crossing. You know how you got to...
I don't think I'm being pacified with the month. I think I'm being more crucified and hit upside my head than being pacified.
But let me tell you why I say pacify. They got us thinking they doing something for us. But what they got us like, You ever seen a dog in the yard, but he won't, so far he'll go because of that visible fence?
That's right.
That's what they got us.
Yes.
They got us by that visible fence. So everybody that you're talking about besides Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks is a slave. But they won't tell you about Robert Brown Elliott, who was one of the first black U.S. congressmen and U.S. senators, right, in the 1800s. Because if you start to look him up, you'll find out he was under the Republican Party, not under the Democrat Party. So there's certain things they want to keep away from you because of the fact that we don't need you to go back. Let's start right here. They won't tell you about John Hanson, who was the first black man that was ever president. Obama was the first black man president under the Constitution. But before the Constitution, we had a black man.
Yeah.
That was in those positions. So they don't want you to know these things. Like the yellow fever in Philadelphia, there was 2 black men and 1 white man that took care of everybody in Philadelphia. But they don't want to tell you that.
Yeah.
And one last name was Rainey.
And I don't see them talk about Black Wall Street much at all. And I know a lot of times they say, really, with the money, you can do what you want to do with it. You can talk positive,
right?
But it's so much pain there in the thought of it that we go negative. So I can say this: if you had the ability, this is what you're saying. If you had the ability to change this month out, you would make it American history.
Real American history.
Real American history is what you would do, and I like that. I like that
right.
a lot. That changes my thought about how I always thought you was a good dude, but me and you on the same page for real about how this history go with us, here in this Black History Month, and so we're going into Black History Month. And, we've been on for a while. This is 100 Gems podcast, home of the champs. Is it anything, Dr. King, that you can look into that camera before we go and just tell the viewers, give them some insight, give them a tip, give them a gem today that we can go with?
Well, I will say this. Don't settle for what somebody tell you. Do your homework. Study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that not be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. And I'm not just talking about the Bible. I'm talking about in politics. I'm talking about, if you go back in politics, you'll find out that Abraham Lincoln, his vice president, was a Democrat. Even though he was a Republican, he chose a Democrat, Andrew Johnson. So you got to go deep. And then you got to ask yourself, what do I want for my children? What do I want for my grandchildren? And if I want them to have a better life, you can't get a better life without changing something. And Einstein said it this way: if you keep doing the same thing expecting a different result, that's insanity. And he also said you can't fix a system that's broken with the same system that got it broken in the first place. So we have a lot of things broken in the city of Milwaukee. We have a lot of things been lied to us in the city of Milwaukee. We have people that we voted for their image, but not their character in the city of Milwaukee. And this is why you're frustrated. So I'm asking you that this year, do not vote against your complaints. You've been complaining about leadership. You've been complaining about your elected officials. So don't vote for them if you've been complaining about them.
Oh, man, thank you. Thank you. Listen, guys, we thank Pastor Dr. David King for coming by today. He will be coming back more so we can get some of this insight in this brain that he has on him. This is 100 Gems podcast, home of the champs, baby. Peace.